Late night. Gas station. Two men arguing over a parking spot. Voices get louder. One man pushes. The other pushes back. Suddenly fists fly. Within seconds, one man is on the ground, motionless. Sirens in the distance. The winner is now facing manslaughter charges. His life is over. One mistake. That's all it takes. Street fighting isn't like the movies. It's not like sparring in the gym. It's not even like competition fighting. The street is chaos, unpredictable, and absolutely unforgiving. One single error can cost you your life, your freedom, or your future. I've analyzed hundreds of real street fight videos. I've talked to combat veterans, law enforcement officers, bouncers, and professional fighters. And I've identified the mistakes that show up again and again, the errors that turn survivable situations into tragedies. Today I'm going to show you the most common and most deadly mistakes people make in street fights. These aren't theoretical. These are documented patterns that get people hurt or killed. And if you ever find yourself in a violent situation, knowing these mistakes might be the difference between going home safe or not going home at all. This isn't about teaching you to fight. This is about teaching you to survive. Let's start with something crucial that most people don't understand. The ring has rules. The cage has rules. Even street-oriented martial arts have training protocols. But the actual street? No rules. No referee. No time limits. No medical team standing by. In the ring, if you get knocked down, the referee gives you time to recover. On the street, that's when the real damage starts. Kicks to the head, stomps, curb stomps that can kill you or leave you permanently brain damaged. In the gym, you tap out when caught in a submission. On the street, nobody stops. They choke you unconscious or break your arm. Then they might keep going. In competition, there are weight classes. On the street, you might face someone 50 pounds heavier who's been in 20 real fights while you've been doing forms in a dojo. The consequences are different too. Lose a fight in the gym? Your ego hurts. Lose a fight on the street? You might die. Or you might kill someone and spend 20 years in prison. Or you might win, but end up with permanent injuries, PTSD, or legal bills that bankrupt you. This is why knowing what not to do is just as important as knowing what to do. Maybe more important. So let's get into the mistakes. And I'm starting with the biggest one of all. The single biggest mistake you can make in a street fight is being in a street fight at all. I know that sounds obvious, but hear me out. The number one error I see in real footage is people fighting when they had the option to walk away. They had the chance to de-escalate. They had the opportunity to leave. But ego got in the way. Someone bumps into them and doesn't apologize. Someone calls them a name. Someone disrespects them in front of their friends or girlfriend. And instead of being the bigger person and walking away, they engage. They escalate. They fight. Let me tell you what happens next in many of these cases. Best case scenario, you win the fight, but you still might face assault charges. You might get sued. Your opponent might have friends who retaliate later. You might injure your hands and face medical bills. And you have to live with the psychological aftermath of violence. Worst case, you lose and suffer serious injury or death. Or you win but kill the other person and face manslaughter or murder charges. I've seen cases where someone threw one punch, the person fell and hit their head on concrete, died, and the winner is now serving 15 years for manslaughter. There was a case in the UK. Two men, early 20s, got into an argument outside a bar. Verbal insults. The situation was de-escalating. One guy started walking away. But his friend egged him on, called him soft for backing down. So he turned back around. Punched the other guy once. The guy fell, hit his head on the curb, died instantly. The puncher got 12 years in prison. His entire future destroyed because he couldn't handle the perceived loss of respect. Your ego is not worth your life or your freedom. There's nothing cowardly about walking away from a fight. In fact, it takes more strength to walk away than to throw a punch. Any idiot can fight. It takes a secure, intelligent person to refuse the bait. If someone insults you, so what? Words don't hurt unless you give them power. If someone bumps you, apologize even if it wasn't your fault and move on. Swallow your pride. The stranger's opinion of you means nothing. Going home safe means everything. Fight only as the absolute last resort when your safety or someone else's safety genuinely requires it. If you can avoid, de-escalate, or escape, do that. Always. Let's move to the next critical mistake. I've seen this kill people. Literally. Someone looks at their opponent and makes instant judgments. He's smaller than me. He's old. He looks out of shape. He's not in a fighting stance. And they drop their guard, get overconfident, and get destroyed. Here's the truth. Everyone is dangerous. Size doesn't tell you everything. That small guy might be a boxer with knockout power. That older guy might have 40 years of judo and can throw you on your head. That out-of-shape looking person might be an off-duty cop who's been in dozens of real fights. You can't tell someone's skill level by looking at them. I've seen videos of unassuming people, skinny, older, non-threatening, absolutely demolishing aggressive attackers because they had real training and real experience. But even beyond skill, here's what you really need to understand. Anyone can have a weapon. That small person you're not worried about might have a knife, might have a gun. That person who seems harmless might have friends around the corner you haven't seen yet. There's a famous video from Brazil. A large muscular man harassing and pushing a smaller, older man on the street. The big guy is laughing, clearly not taking the situation seriously. The smaller man stays calm, asks him to stop. The big guy pushes again. In one fluid motion, the smaller man pulls the big guy's shirt over his head and delivers about 15 punches to his face in 3 seconds. Turns out he was a boxer in his youth. The big guy hit the ground and didn't get up. He completely underestimated his opponent. Another case, a young gang member tried to rob an elderly man at an ATM. The victim was a 65-year-old former Marine. The would-be robber ended up with a broken arm and in police custody. Size and age didn't matter. Experience and training did. Never, ever underestimate your opponent. Treat everyone as if they're the most dangerous person you've ever faced. Stay alert. Stay cautious. And if at all possible, don't engage. Before we continue, drop a comment and tell me what city you're watching this from. I want to know where my community is located. Let me see where you're at. Now let's talk about one of the most dangerous mistakes in real violence. You're focused on the guy in front of you. He's aggressive, threatening, in your face. All your attention is on him. Meanwhile, his friend is circling behind you with a bottle. Or there's a knife on the ground you didn't see. Or you're backing up toward stairs. And suddenly everything goes wrong. Tunnel vision is a killer. Literally. When adrenaline spikes, your vision naturally narrows. You focus on the immediate threat. This is a survival instinct, but it can get you killed. The environment matters enormously in street violence. You need to be aware of multiple things simultaneously. Are there multiple attackers? This is critical. You might be focused on the guy yelling at you while his buddies are moving into position to jump you. Always scan for additional threats. If you see multiple people, your only good option is usually to run immediately. Are there weapons nearby? Bottles, rocks, bricks, broken glass, metal poles, anything can become a weapon. The person might grab something and suddenly the situation becomes lethal. You need to see these environmental factors. What's the terrain like? Are you near stairs where a fall could kill you? Near traffic where you could get hit by a car? Near water where you could drown? On slippery ground where you could fall? The terrain dictates what tactics are safe. Where are the exits? Things go bad, do you know which direction to run? Is there a clear path? Are you trapped? Never let yourself get cornered with no escape route. Are there witnesses or cameras? This matters for both safety and legal reasons. Public areas with cameras and witnesses are safer because attackers often won't escalate in front of evidence. But you also need to be aware that if you're forced to defend yourself, everything is being recorded. There's a tragic case from New York. A man got into a confrontation with another man on a subway platform. They were arguing, pushing each other. The first man was so focused on his opponent that he didn't realize how close they were to the edge of the platform. During the scuffle, he lost his balance and fell onto the tracks. The train was coming. He didn't survive. He was so locked into the confrontation that he forgot about the environment. Another case, a bouncer outside a club got into a fight with a drunk patron. The bouncer was winning, had the guy controlled. But he wasn't aware that 2 of the drunk guy's friends were approaching from behind with bottles. They hit him in the back of the head. He went down, suffered a skull fracture, and barely survived. He was so focused on the one threat that he missed the others. Keep your head on a swivel. Never get so focused on one thing that you lose awareness of everything else. Peripheral vision is your friend. Quick glances around. Constant assessment. This is survival awareness, and it's absolutely critical. Now let's talk about something that gets Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners hurt on the street. I love BJJ. I think it's one of the most effective martial arts. But the street is not the mat. And intentionally going to the ground in a street fight is usually a terrible idea. Here's why. The ground on the street is concrete or asphalt. It's hard, rough, often dirty. When you go to the ground, you're scraping your skin, possibly hitting your head, exposing yourself to serious injury just from the impact. But more importantly, on the ground you're vulnerable to everyone else. If there are multiple attackers, and you often won't know if there are until it's too late, going to the ground is suicidal. While you're on top of one guy trying to submit him, his friends can kick you in the head freely. You can't see them coming. You can't defend. You're a stationary target. I've seen videos where someone successfully takes an opponent down, gets mount position, is winning the grappling exchange, then gets soccer kicked in the head by someone they didn't see. Fight over. They lose consciousness. Now they're on the ground, unable to defend themselves at the mercy of multiple attackers. Ground fighting should be your last resort on the street. If someone takes you down, yes, you need ground skills to get back up or defend yourself. But intentionally pulling guard or going for a takedown, usually wrong choice. There are exceptions. If you're certain it's one-on-one in a relatively safe environment, and you have superior ground skills, it might make sense. But even then, you want to finish as quickly as possible and get back to your feet. The goal on the street is always to stay mobile. Mobility equals survival. On the ground, you lose mobility. You can't run. You can't see threats coming. You can't reposition. Avoid it whenever possible. Here's a related mistake that gets people seriously hurt. You knock the guy down. He's on the ground, seems dazed. You think it's over. You relax. You turn your back. And then he gets up and attacks you again. Or his friend who you didn't see attacks you. Or you get hit from behind while you're celebrating. The fight is not over until you are safely away from the threat. Not when the person goes down. Not when they seem defeated. Not when they stop attacking momentarily. It's over when you have distance and safety. Adrenaline does strange things. Someone can seem knocked out, then pop back up seconds later with a second wind. Someone can seem submissive and defeated, then attack when you drop your guard. You cannot trust that the threat has passed until you have physically separated yourself from it. There are countless videos of people dropping their hands after landing a good punch, thinking they won, then getting knocked out by a counter punch. Or standing over a downed opponent, taunting them, then getting kicked or grabbed and pulled down. I saw footage from outside a bar. Two men fighting. One lands a hard punch, knocks the other down. He thinks he won. Starts walking away, waving his hands in victory. The down guy gets up, grabs a bottle from the ground and hits him in the back of the head with it. The winner went down hard and ended up with a serious head injury. Never turn your back until you've created real distance. Never assume it's over. Back away while maintaining awareness. Keep your hands up. Keep scanning for threats. Get to safety, then and only then can you relax. The moment you drop your guard is the moment you're most vulnerable. Don't give them that opportunity. Now let's talk about telegraphing. In training, you can often get away with telegraphing your moves. Your partner sees the punch coming, but you're just drilling, so it's fine. In real violence, telegraphing gets you countered and hurt. Telegraphing means giving away what you're about to do before you do it. Looking at the target before you strike. Pulling your fist way back before throwing a punch. Making a big wind-up motion. Shifting your weight obviously. Changing your facial expression. Making a sound. All of these things tell your opponent what's coming, giving them time to defend or counter. The most common telegraph, looking where you're going to strike. If you stare at someone's jaw, then throw a punch at their jaw, they saw it coming. Your eyes gave it away. Same with kicks. People look at the target before kicking, making it obvious. Another common one, pulling back before striking. That big wind-up punch where you pull your fist back to your shoulder before throwing? Completely telegraphed. By the time your punch arrives, they've already moved or they're punching you first. Good strikers attack from their guard position. The punch comes from where their hand already is, no wind-up. Their face stays neutral until the moment of attack. Their body doesn't shift obviously before moving. The element of surprise is huge in real fighting. If they don't see it coming, they can't defend it. But if you telegraph everything, you lose that advantage. There's a concept in combat. The person who hits first usually wins. But you can only hit first if they don't see it coming. If you telegraph, they see it coming, and now you're in a mutual exchange where size and power matter more than timing. Train to attack from neutral positions. No big tells. No obvious setups. Sudden, explosive, unexpected. That's how you land shots in real violence. Here's a mistake that gets people killed, and it comes from a good place, the desire to be honorable and fair. On the street, there is no such thing as a fair fight. The person attacking you is not going to fight with honor. They will use every advantage they can. And if you don't do the same, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage that could cost your life. I'm not saying you should go around attacking people dishonorably. I'm saying that if you're in a genuine self-defense situation where violence is unavoidable, you cannot afford to handicap yourself with artificial rules. If your life is in danger, there are no illegal targets. Eyes, throat, groin, knees, these are legitimate targets when you're defending your life. A finger to the eye can stop an attacker instantly. A strike to the throat can end a fight. A kick to the knee can disable them long enough for you to escape. Some people hesitate to use these targets because they seem dirty or cheap. But this isn't a sporting competition. This is survival. The attacker isn't going to limit themselves to fair techniques. Neither should you. Objects in the environment are weapons if you need them. A handful of dirt thrown in someone's eyes creates an opening to escape. A pen can be used as a striking weapon. A jacket can be used to defend against a knife. Your keys between your fingers can add impact to a punch. I'm not advocating for unnecessary violence. I'm advocating for effective self-defense. If you're forced to fight, fight to survive and escape, using every tool available to you. There's an old saying, the winner of a street fight is the one who goes home, not the one who fought with honor. Not the one who used only legal techniques. The one who survived. Do whatever is necessary to protect yourself, then get out of there. Now let's talk about the nightmare scenario. Multiple attackers. If you're facing multiple opponents and you position yourself where they can all attack you at once, you've essentially lost. The math is simple. One person can't effectively defend against several people attacking simultaneously from different angles. Your only chance against multiple attackers is positioning and movement. You need to use angles and distance to prevent them from surrounding you. Keep them in front of you. If they're trying to circle, you move so they stay in your field of vision. If they start to surround you, you break out of the circle before it closes. Use one opponent as a shield against the others. If you can position yourself so that one attacker is between you and the others, they can't all reach you at once. Move constantly to maintain this advantage. Create distance. Multiple attackers want to close distance and swarm you. You want space to move, see threats, and escape. Backpedal, circle, do whatever keeps space between you and them. And most importantly, your goal is not to beat them. Your goal is to escape. If you can create an opening to run, run. Don't try to fight multiple people if you have any other option. There's a video that went viral years ago of a man defending himself against multiple attackers using excellent footwork and positioning. He kept moving, kept them in front of him, landed quick strikes to create distance, and eventually escaped. He didn't try to knock them all out. He created opportunities to get away. Compare that to videos where someone gets surrounded. They try to fight multiple people at once. They get taken down by sheer numbers. It goes very badly. If you see multiple potential attackers, your first instinct should be to run before it even starts. Don't wait to see if they're all going to attack. Don't try to talk your way out. Just leave. Multiple against one is a losing situation almost every time. Here's a mistake that comes from training in controlled environments. You've trained in boxing, Muay Thai, BJJ. Your training assumes that everyone is unarmed and it's going to be hand-to-hand combat. But on the street, weapons are everywhere. People carry knives. People carry guns. People pick up bottles, rocks, sticks, anything within reach and turn it into a weapon. And weapons completely change the dynamics of a confrontation. If someone has a knife and you don't know knife defense, you're in extreme danger. Knife attacks are incredibly fast and difficult to defend against. Even trained fighters get cut in knife encounters. Most knife defense techniques you see in martial arts schools don't work well against a committed attacker with a knife. If someone has a gun, martial arts skills mean almost nothing. You comply or you run. Fighting someone with a gun is almost always suicide unless you have very specific training and the exact right circumstances. But even improvised weapons are dangerous. A bottle to the head can cause traumatic brain injury or death. A brick can crush a skull. A belt with a heavy buckle becomes a whip that can blind you. You need to assume weapons might be present. Scan for them. Look at the person's hands, their waistband, their pockets. Look at the environment for objects they might grab. If you see a weapon, your calculus changes completely. Running becomes even more important. Compliance might be the right answer. Fighting is even more of a last resort. There's a training concept. Don't bring fists to a knife fight. If someone has a weapon and you don't, you're at a massive disadvantage. Even if you win, you're likely getting hurt badly. The best defense against weapons is awareness and avoidance. See the threat early and get out before it escalates. Let's talk about what happens to your body under extreme stress. When real violence starts, your body floods with adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart rate spikes. Your breathing becomes rapid and shallow. Blood moves away from your brain to your muscles. And several things happen that people don't expect. Your fine motor skills degrade. That complex technique you practiced 1,000 times? Under stress, you might not be able to execute it. Your fingers don't work right. Your coordination suffers. Your vision changes. Tunnel vision, as mentioned earlier. You might also lose peripheral vision or depth perception. Things look different under stress. Time distortion occurs. Everything might seem to happen in slow motion, or conversely, everything happens too fast to process. You might freeze. This is a real physiological response. Some people, when confronted with violence, literally cannot move. Their body locks up. All of this is normal. But it's also dangerous if you're not prepared for it. The way you combat this is through training. Not just technical training, but training under stress. Sparring that gets your heart rate up. Scenario training that includes adrenaline. Exposure to controlled stressful situations so your body learns to function despite the stress response. You also need to practice breathing. Under stress, controlled breathing helps calm the nervous system and restore some mental clarity. Even in the middle of a fight, if you can take a deep breath, it helps. But here's the key. You need to practice simple, gross motor skills that work even when you're panicking. That's why basic punches, basic kicks, basic movements are so valuable. Complex techniques fall apart under stress. Simple ones hold up. There are documented cases of trained fighters freezing in real altercations because they weren't prepared for the psychological intensity. And there are cases of untrained people successfully defending themselves because they did something, even if it wasn't perfect. Action beats inaction. Even imperfect action is better than freezing. Train yourself to move, to do something even when you're scared. Here's a tactical mistake I see constantly. You're defending yourself. The fight is ongoing. You're exchanging blows, both people still standing. Seconds turn into minutes. And the longer it goes, the worse your situation becomes. Every second you spend in a street fight, the danger increases exponentially. More people might show up, his friends, your friends, police. Someone might pull a weapon. You might get tired. You might make a mistake. The situation might escalate beyond control. Your goal should be to end the threat as quickly as possible, then escape. Not to dominate. Not to punish. Not to prove anything. End the immediate threat and get out. This means you need to be decisive and aggressive if forced to fight. No hesitation. No holding back. You commit fully to stopping the threat, then you leave. Half measures in real violence are dangerous. If you're going to strike, strike hard to vital targets. If you're going to run, run immediately and don't look back. If you're going to defend, defend completely then counter. Decisiveness is survival. I've seen videos where someone could have ended the fight early but held back, tried to de-escalate while still engaged in combat, or hesitated. That hesitation gave the opponent time to recover, escalate, or bring in reinforcements. There's a time for de-escalation, before violence starts. Once violence has started, your only goals are protect yourself and escape. Everything else is secondary. Prolonged fights also drain you. Most people who don't train regularly are exhausted within 30 seconds of intense fighting. If you're still fighting after a minute, you're probably too tired to defend yourself effectively. End it fast. Related to this, don't pursue. If you create an opportunity to escape and the threat is no longer immediate, don't chase them down. Don't continue the fight. Get to safety. Call police if necessary. But don't extend the confrontation. The fight is not about winning. It's about surviving. Let's talk about distance management, something most people don't think about. Distance in a fight matters enormously. Too close, you're vulnerable to strikes you can't see coming, grabs and weapons. Too far, you can't escape or counterattack if needed. You need to control distance intelligently. If someone is getting aggressive, you want to maintain space. This gives you time to see attacks coming, time to react, and space to escape if needed. Don't let them close the gap until you have no room to move. But if you're forced to engage, you need to understand ranges. Boxing range is arm's length. You can hit them, they can hit you. Clinch range is close, grabbing, knees, elbows, headbutts. Ground range is self-explanatory. Most untrained people fight at the worst range. Too close to use distance for defense but not close enough to control the opponent. They end up in sloppy brawling range where wild punches fly and anything can happen. If you're going to fight, choose your range deliberately. If you have superior striking, maintain boxing range. If you have superior grappling, close to clinch range. Don't just end up wherever the chaos takes you. And remember, footwork matters on the street just like in the ring. Moving laterally, circling, advancing and retreating with purpose. Stay light on your feet. Don't be a stationary target. There's an old boxing saying, hit and don't get hit. The don't get hit part requires distance management and footwork. These aren't just sport techniques. They're survival skills. Here's something that sounds counterintuitive but it's critical. Under extreme stress, complex techniques fail. That spinning kick you can do perfectly in class won't happen in a real fight. That complex submission from inverted guard? Not going to work when you're terrified and exhausted. Real violence requires simple, gross motor movements that you can execute without thinking. Straight punches, basic kicks, simple takedowns, fundamental submissions. These are what works when everything goes chaotic. I've talked to military combat veterans and law enforcement officers who've been in real life or death situations. They all say the same thing. When the shit hits the fan, you revert to your most basic training. The fancy stuff disappears. The fundamentals are what save you. This is why I always advocate for martial arts with simple techniques trained to mastery. Boxing 4 basic punches trained 10,000 times. Wrestling basic takedowns, drilled until they're automatic. BJJ fundamentals, a few solid submissions from the most common positions. Better to have 3 techniques you can do perfectly under stress than 30 techniques you can do pretty well in calm conditions. Complexity is the enemy of performance under pressure. Keep it simple. Drill the basics until they're second nature. When adrenaline hits and your brain goes into survival mode, your body will execute what it's trained to do automatically. Make sure those automatic responses are simple and effective. Let's talk about a specific mistake people make when they decide to run. Running from a fight is smart. Running is survival. Running is not cowardice, it's intelligence. But running needs to be done correctly or it can get you hurt. The mistake: turning your back while still in range and just sprinting away. This leaves you completely vulnerable to being hit from behind, tackled, or having something thrown at you. You can't see what's happening. You can't defend. And getting hit from behind when you're not expecting it often results in serious injury. If you're going to run, you need to create distance first. This might mean pushing the person away, landing a strike that makes them hesitate, throwing something in their path, or just backing up quickly while keeping them in sight. Once you have enough space that they can't immediately reach you, then you turn and sprint. You also need to know where you're running to. Running blindly into an alley might trap you. Running into traffic might get you hit by a car. Running toward their friends is obviously bad. Have spatial awareness before you commit to fleeing. Run toward lights, people, businesses, anywhere there's witnesses and safety. Don't run into isolated areas. Attackers are less likely to pursue into populated areas where witnesses and cameras exist. And when you run, run fast and don't stop. Don't look back constantly, that slows you down. Get to safety, then assess. Your goal is distance and security, not checking if they're following. There's a concept in self-defense: tactical retreat. It's not panicked fleeing. It's deliberate movement to safety while maintaining awareness. That's what you're aiming for. If you're with someone else, a friend, girlfriend, family member, make sure they run too. Don't leave them behind. But also don't let them slow you down if they're in less danger than you. Communicate quickly and get to safety. Running is smart. Running correctly is survival. Now let's talk about something that seems unrelated but it's crucial. When violence happens, there's a tendency to stay quiet. You don't want to draw attention. You don't want to seem weak by calling for help. This is wrong thinking and it's dangerous. Making noise during a violent encounter serves multiple purposes. It attracts attention. People nearby might look, might come help, might call police. Attackers often don't want attention. Loud noise can make them reconsider or flee. It creates witnesses. If there's legal aftermath, witnesses are valuable. You want people to see what happened, see that you were defending yourself, see who the aggressor was. It activates cameras. Many businesses and homes have cameras that are motion or sound activated. Noise increases the chance the incident is recorded. It signals distress. People respond to certain sounds. A specific technique, yelling fire instead of help, actually gets better response because people are curious about fire but reluctant to get involved in a fight. Use that to your advantage. Don't suffer in silence. Yell. Scream. Make noise. Get away from me. I don't know this person. Someone call the police. Make it absolutely clear to anyone listening that you're the victim, not the aggressor. I know it feels unnatural. There's social conditioning against making scenes. Override that. Your safety is more important than social comfort. There are documented cases where someone fought silently and nobody nearby realized violence was happening until it was too late. And there are cases where screaming brought help that stopped the attack. Use your voice as a weapon and as a tool for survival. Now let's talk about the right mindset for self-defense. Everything I've covered so far has been tactical, what to do and not do. But the mental approach matters just as much as the tactics. The right mindset for self-defense is this: survival above all else. Not winning, not honor, not pride, not revenge. Survival. You're not trying to dominate your opponent. You're trying to go home safe. There's a massive difference. Domination requires prolonged engagement. Survival requires ending the threat and escaping. You're not trying to punish them for attacking you. You're trying to create an opportunity to get away. Punishment is what the legal system is for, not you. You're not trying to prove you're tough. Nobody watching matters. Your ego doesn't matter. What matters is getting out safely. This mindset shift is huge. If your goal is survival, your tactics change. You're willing to run even if it feels like losing. You're willing to comply with a robbery if that keeps you alive. You're willing to apologize even when you're not wrong if it de-escalates. But if survival genuinely requires violence, you're willing to do what's necessary without hesitation. No holding back. No artificial rules. You do what must be done to protect yourself, then you leave. There's no glory in street violence. There's no winner. There's only people who get hurt and people who stay safe. Choose safety every single time. This also means checking your ego before situations arise. If you know you have a temper, work on it. If you know you escalate when disrespected, fix that. Your ego is a liability in self-defense situations. The strongest person is the one secure enough to walk away. Remember that. Let's talk about preparation that prevents these mistakes. You can't prevent all violence, but you can dramatically reduce your risk through preparation and smart habits. Train realistically. If you're going to train martial arts, train arts with full contact sparring. Experience what it feels like to get hit, taken down, submitted. This experience is invaluable for staying calm under pressure. Practice awareness daily. In your normal life, notice your surroundings. Who's around you? Where are the exits? What looks unusual? This becomes automatic with practice. Mentally rehearse scenarios. Visualization is powerful. Run through situations in your mind. What would you do if someone got aggressive? If multiple people approached? If you saw a weapon? Mental rehearsals create neural pathways that help in real situations. Get in shape. Cardio especially. Can you run a mile? Can you sprint for 30 seconds without being winded? Physical fitness gives you options. You can fight if needed and you can flee effectively. Know the law. What are the self-defense laws in your area? What's legally justified? What crosses the line into excessive force? This knowledge is important both for making good decisions in the moment and for legal protection afterward. Avoid dangerous situations. Don't walk alone in bad areas late at night. Don't hang out with people who attract violence. Don't go to places where fights are common. Simple avoidance eliminates most risk. Trust your instincts. If a situation feels wrong, it probably is. If a person makes you uncomfortable, create distance. Your subconscious often picks up on danger before your conscious mind does. Have a plan. If you're going somewhere unfamiliar, think ahead. Where would you go if there's trouble? What's your exit strategy? Having a plan reduces panic if something happens. Preparation isn't paranoia. It's intelligence. You're not expecting violence, but you're ready if it comes. Okay, let's recap everything we've covered. The biggest mistakes in street fights are fighting when you could escape. Ego gets people hurt. Walk away whenever possible. Underestimating your opponent. Everyone is dangerous. Never assume you have an advantage. Not being aware of your environment. Tunnel vision gets you killed. See everything: multiple attackers, weapons, terrain, exits. Go into the ground intentionally. The street is not the mat. Stay on your feet when possible. Relaxing too early. The fight isn't over until you're safe. Don't drop your guard. Telegraphing your movements. No warning signs. Attack suddenly from neutral positions. Fighting fair. There are no rules in survival situations. Use every advantage available. Poor positioning against multiple opponents. Never let them surround you. Keep moving, keep them in front. Forgetting weapons exist. Assume they might be armed. Scan constantly. Freezing or panicking. Train under stress so you can function when adrenaline hits. Do something even if imperfect. Prolonging the fight. End it fast and escape. Every second increases danger. Bad distance management. Control space. Don't end up at the worst range. Using complex techniques. Simple, fundamental movements work under stress. Fancy stuff fails. Running incorrectly. Create distance first, know where you're going, then sprint to safety. Fighting silently. Make noise. Attract attention. Create witnesses. Wrong mindset. It's about survival, not winning. Ego is your enemy. Lack of preparation. Train realistically, practice awareness, stay fit, know the law. These mistakes are documented patterns that get people hurt. Knowing them gives you a massive advantage. You can recognize these errors before you make them. But let me be absolutely clear about something. All of this information, all these tactics, all this knowledge, none of it matters as much as avoiding violence in the first place. The hierarchy of self-defense never changes. Awareness comes first. See potential danger before it develops. Most violence can be avoided by noticing warning signs early and making different choices. Avoidance comes second. Don't be in dangerous places. Don't associate with dangerous people. Simple lifestyle choices eliminate most risk. De-escalation comes third. If a situation starts to go bad, use words to calm it down. Apologize. Agree. Leave your pride at home. Most confrontations can be talked down. Escape comes fourth. If violence seems inevitable and you have a path out, take it. Run. There's zero shame in running. It's the smart choice. Physical defense comes last. Only when you cannot avoid, cannot de-escalate, cannot escape. And even then, your goal is to create an opportunity to escape, not to win a fight. This hierarchy exists because physical violence, even in self-defense, carries enormous risks and consequences. You might get hurt. Even if you win, you might suffer injuries, broken bones, concussions, permanent damage, medical bills, lost work, pain and recovery. You might hurt them seriously. If you're forced to defend yourself and you injure the attacker, you have to live with that. Even if legally justified, it affects you psychologically. And if you accidentally kill them, you face potential criminal charges and civil lawsuits. You face legal consequences. Self-defense laws are complex. What you think is justified might not be legally. You might face arrest, charges, trial, legal fees. Even if found not guilty, the process destroys your life for months or years. You face social consequences. Your reputation might suffer. Employers might not want to hire someone involved in violence. Relationships might be affected. The psychological aftermath is real. PTSD from violent encounters is common. Nightmares, anxiety, fear, hypervigilance. Even winning a fight can traumatize you. Violence should be your absolute last resort. Not because you're weak or cowardly, but because you're intelligent enough to understand the true cost. Now, having said all that, I want to emphasize, if you genuinely have no choice, if your safety or someone else's safety truly requires physical defense, don't hesitate. Do what you must do to survive. All of the tactics and principles I've covered are there for those situations where you have no other option. Better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Better to face legal consequences than die. If it comes down to your life or theirs, choose your life. Always. But make absolutely certain it's truly necessary before you go there. Exhaust every other option first. Let me share something important about the aftermath of violence. If you're forced to defend yourself, what you do immediately after matters enormously. First, get to safety. Don't stand there checking if they're okay. Don't try to help them. Don't engage in conversation. Create distance and get somewhere safe. Second, call police immediately. You want to be the first one to call. The first person to report usually gets presumption of being the victim. Report that you were attacked and had to defend yourself. Third, seek medical attention if needed. Even minor injuries should be documented. This creates evidence that you were in a violent encounter. Fourth, identify witnesses if possible. Get names and contact information of anyone who saw what happened. Witness testimony is crucial if there's legal action. Fifth, document everything while it's fresh. Write down exactly what happened, what was said, what you did and why. Your memory will be clearer immediately after than days later. Sixth, do not discuss details on social media. Do not brag. Do not justify yourself publicly. Anything you post can be used against you legally. Seventh, get legal counsel. Even if you're certain you were in the right, talk to a lawyer before giving detailed statements. You have the right to legal representation. The aftermath can be just as important as the encounter itself. Handle it correctly to protect yourself legally and personally. Alright, let's bring this home. Street violence is unpredictable, dangerous, and potentially life-destroying. The mistakes people make in these situations often come from misunderstanding what street fighting actually is. It's not a sport. It's not a test of skill or courage. It's not an opportunity to prove yourself. It's a dangerous, chaotic situation where people get seriously hurt or killed, and where even the winner often loses in the long run. Every single mistake I've covered today has hurt or killed someone. These aren't theoretical. They're documented patterns from real violence. But here's the good news. Knowledge is power. Now that you know these mistakes, you're less likely to make them. You can recognize these errors before they happen. You can make better decisions under pressure. And most importantly, you can recognize that the smartest move is usually to avoid the fight entirely. Train your skills. Practice awareness. Prepare yourself mentally and physically. But use all of that preparation to stay out of violence, not to seek it. The true master of self-defense is the person who never has to use it because they navigate life in a way that avoids violence. Be that person. Now I want to hear from you. Comment below and tell me. 1. Which mistake do you see most often in street fight videos? What do people keep doing wrong? 2. What city are you watching from? Let me know where you're located. 3. Have you ever witnessed or been in a situation where someone made one of these mistakes? What happened? I read every comment and I want to know your thoughts and experiences. If this video gave you valuable information that could keep you safe, hit that like button. This helps the content reach more people who need real self-defense information, not fantasy. Subscribe to the channel because we're going even deeper into real-world self-defense and combat. Next video, how to develop real fighting instinct, the skills that can't be taught, only developed through the right training. Remember, the best fight is the one you avoid. But if you can't avoid it, don't make these mistakes. Stay aware, stay prepared, stay safe. And above all, stay smart. Until the next video, take care of yourselves.